What's up, everybody? Welcome back to State of the Nova Nation. This is our first episode back since fall break. My name is Pat Ralph.
And I'm Alexander Hernandez.
So as we were saying, this is our first episode back. I feel like it's been so long now. It's maybe like a month since our last show. How's everything going? How's fall break?
You know, it's going well. Fall break was great. As you all know, I went to Disney World and it was awesome.
It sounded like it was a great time and
Yeah.
stuff. And I know you were going to bring some Mickey Mouse ears to the show tonight for us to wear, but...
I forgot them. I know, you won't let me forget it.
I
But
won't.
they were pink and sparkly, so did you really want me to bring them?
But of course, who would say no to Mickey Mouse ears?
That's true. No one in their right mind.
No, I would love to wear those on set. The folks would have loved it at home.
They
seeing
would
them.
have.
Yeah. But all in all, it sounded like it was a really great trip.
Yeah, it was.
That's awesome. So tonight, we're talking about field hockey and volleyball on tonight's first show back from fall break.
Tonight's weekly conversation is with Bobby Reiff, who's the director of Special Olympics Fall Fest here at Villanova. Villanova hosts the largest student-run Special Olympics in the world.
But before we get to that, let's throw to Shay Palmer with some more information on how volleyball did this past week in Jake Nevin.
Villanova volleyball continues to roll as they won back-to-back games this weekend versus Georgetown and Creighton. They took on Creighton Friday night, and it was a very closely contested match, but they came out with the win, which is the first time in school history that has ever happened. Villanova took the first set 27-25. Allie Loitz and Lauren Carpenter supplied the last two kills to take the first one. In the second set, Creighton took the lead in the set to take it away from the Wildcats. Villanova responded by taking the next set to take a 2-1 lead, but were unable to close it out right away. Creighton won the fourth set pretty comfortably, forcing the fifth and final set. Like all other sets before, it wasn't easy for Villanova. The Wildcats watched the Blue Jays chip away at their 14-11 lead to eventually tie the game. With each point Villanova got to take the lead, Creighton countered back. Eventually, the Wildcats took an 18-17 lead thanks to a kill by Claire Clutchfield. The finishing touches were placed when Creighton's Lauren Smith hit the ball out of bounds. Villanova avenged a loss they got earlier in the season to Creighton. Claire Clutchfield had a career-high 20-kill performance. Allie Loitz was right behind her with 18 kills. Emma Pettit also had a career high of 67 assists. Jolly Winters led Creighton with 19 kills. Then, the following night, it was a lot easier. The Wildcats swept Georgetown Hoyas. Villanova dominated Georgetown in the first set, taking it 25-8. The Wildcats followed it up, winning the next two sets, 25-18 and 26-24. While it wasn't a tough, grinded-out match, the victory might taste even sweeter than it did the night before. Wildcats are treated with their first Big East tournament berth since 2011. Allie Loitz led the way with 13 kills. Claire Clutchfield had 8 kills. Lauren Carpenter had 7. After this weekend, the Wildcats are now 21-5 and 11-2 in the Big East. I'm here with Jesse Hatton on some insights on how Villanova played this weekend. So, what do you think about Villanova's performance this weekend against Creighton in Georgia?
Well, I thought that Villanova's volleyball team exhibited a lot of growth, and that growth really showed itself this weekend. The last time they played Creighton, they lost. They haven't beaten Creighton yet, except this weekend. This weekend when they beat Creighton, it was the first time they've ever beaten them in school history. It was a shootout, but it was, despite the fact that it was a shootout, the Villanova's defense did play great, and it was a very hard-fought win for Villanova. And after that win against Creighton, they came into Georgetown and they dominated them. They beat them in all 3 sets. They beat the tar out of Georgetown, and I think that win was exemplary of the type of growth that they've exhibited this season. And all in all, it was just a dominating weekend by Villanova.
So what do you think about Villanova volleyball's success so far this weekend? They have a lot of contributors from the young kids to the veterans. So what do you think about all that?
Well, I'm going to start with the young up-and-coming players. 2 players that have really stuck out to me this season are sophomore Allie Loitz and freshman Amanda Peterson-Henry. Loitz leads the team in kills as a sophomore, and Peterson-Henry is second on the team in kills. That's amazing for 2 young players to already be contributing to the team statistically and like just being dominant like that. And that only just shows you that the program's going to grow from here, because obviously since they're freshmen and since one's a freshman, one's a sophomore, they're only going to get older and they're going to be around for a couple more years and they're only going to get better. And obviously you're going to get an influx of talent as the years go on, so the team's only going to get better from here. And that's not to say that the veterans haven't been contributing either. The veterans have been playing very well. A couple veterans that have been noteworthy this overall season and especially this weekend were Gavi Petikoukis, Claire Crutchfield, and Emma Pettit. That's just 3 names that I could mention of all the veterans that have been playing very well for this Villanova team. All in all, as you said, the team is 21-5 overall, 11-2 in the Big East, and They can only go up from here. And it's thanks in part to the contributions from both the young players and the veterans.
Absolutely. So they already have a seed in the Big East tournament.
Yep.
So looking forward, they still have some games left to play this season. What do you think Coach is telling his team right now with games left to play, and they know they're going to be in the tournament? So what do you think Coach is telling his team?
I think Coach Steinbeck's saying, hey guys, you know what? We got in the Big East tournament, and that's awesome. It's been a long time since we got in the Big East tournament, but we got Butler and Xavier to worry about now. Let's worry about those teams first. Let's worry about those games first, and then we'll worry about the Big East tournament, because Butler's always giving them trouble. And you know what? That's going to be a tough game. You got to get through Butler, and you got to get through Xavier. You got to take it 1 week at a time. You can't think 3 weeks in advance, go, oh, Big East tournament, when you have 2 games more left to play. So I think that's what Coach Steinbeck is telling his team right now.
Awesome. Well, thank you for your insight. And this is some recap of what happened this weekend in Villanova volleyball. And they're in the Big East tournament. Excited to see for things to come. Back to you guys in the studio.
As we can see, the volleyball team's having an incredible year this year. We hope they can continue that hot playing down the stretch as they finish up the regular season.
Now let's turn it over to Lexi and Patrick, who have the update on field hockey.
On Saturday afternoon, it was senior day for the Villanova field hockey team. Before the game, players were honored with a ceremony for parents, coaches, and teammates. Kayla Kenny, Ann Romanowski, Christina Roberts, Heather Smiley, Carolyn Clark, and Taylor Kidwell were all commemorated for their careers on the team. Wildcats took on Big Five rival Temple for the last game of the regular season. There were a good amount of loud fans for both teams. Temple took the lead when Elisa Delps scored off a corner assist by Paige Gross with 11 minutes and 43 seconds remaining in the first half. The Wildcats had a large number of corner opportunities, but were not able to convert any of them. Temple goalie Haley Mitchell had 5 of her 6 saves in the first half, with 3 coming down to the stretch. Temple had a 1-0 lead going into halftime. In the second half, Temple maintained possession to start. Late in the second half, Villanova's Courtney Devine scored the equalizer. Kayla Kenny sent the corner pass to Kristen Miracle, who assisted Devine on her 3rd goal. Shortly after, Devine scored again from close range to give Villanova the lead. However, Temple would not go down easily. Hattie Coons tied it up late in the game. Villanova's last-minute attempts to score were stopped by Owls' defense, bringing it into overtime. Unfortunately for the Wildcats, the Owls' Maya Brown broke free and scored the golden goal to win the game. The Wildcats finished the regular season 5-11, and Temple improves to 7-12. I'm joined now by our sports analyst, Patrick Chapchak. Patrick, talk to me. What has been going on this season with this team?
So this Villanova field hockey had a lot of excitement going in, a lot of potential to this team, but they actually had a rough start. It wasn't until the second half of the season that they got their first start, so obviously a disappointing beginning. But they made it up because once they got that first season on the road, they were able to have a ton of momentum the rest of the season. They got some quality conference wins, which put them in a position to get them to the postseason.
Absolutely. So what about this game against Temple? What did that look like?
So this game against Temple was a rough game. It was very exciting. It was senior night, so there were a lot of fans at the game. And the fact that they were playing Temple meant there were a lot of fans on the other side as well. So the game didn't start off great. Temple scored first, but it was actually Villanova that came back with the equalizer, and then another goal that put them ahead 2-1, also by Devine, her 2nd goal of the game. In the first half, they actually had 10 corners compared to Temple's 3. That usually means that you have much more possession in the game, more scoring opportunities. However, it was Temple which came away and tied it in the end of the second half. That put it to overtime, which was a sudden death overtime as they play, and it was actually Temple that got the first goal and they got the win. So obviously a disappointing end to a very exciting senior night, but still a quality game by this team.
Definitely seems like it. So what do you think we can expect in the postseason?
Villanova field hockey is actually making the Big East postseason play for the first time since 2011. So it's a very exciting time for this program. Now they know exactly who they're going to play. They'll be the number 3 seed, which means they're playing the number 2 seed Temple. So they know what to expect from this team. They know what to improve on. Obviously looking for a better performance than their last game, the overtime loss. But if they move on and they beat Temple, they'll play number 1 seed UConn, which is one of the best teams in the country. So if they can put themselves in that position, they could have the chance to make up for the disappointing first half.
Absolutely. Well, good luck to our Villanova field hockey team. Back to you guys in the studio.
Here at Villanova University, we are innovators of change, passionate in our pursuit of perfection. For over 150 years, we have been leaders in academics and athletics. Our state-of-the-art facilities inspire students to achieve greatness.
We are Nova Nation!
Ignite change. Go Nova.
Although it was a tough loss for the Villanova Wildcats, they look forward to a rematch against our rivals, the Temple Owls, in the Big East tournament.
Now let's send it to Eugene for our weekly conversation with SpO Fall Festival Director Bobby Reiff.
Hello everyone, and for this week's weekly conversation, I'm here now with Bobby Reiff, the Fall Festival Director of Special Olympics here at Villanova. Bobby, how's everything going so far?
Good, thanks for having me, Eugene. Appreciate it.
So how many volunteers are you guys looking at this year?
We usually get around 4,000 volunteers for the weekend, both on campus and off campus. We have students come out, we have corporations come out, and then just the surrounding community as well, schools, other college campuses. So the volunteers would bring some of the fun to the event for the weekend.
Now this is a very busy week leading into Special Olympics this weekend.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you guys are doing in preparation for this weekend?
So yesterday we just moved all of our supplies into the West Lounge. We have nightly meetings now for committee, LPH, and VC as well. And so they're all putting the final touches on their venues or their specific responsibilities for the weekend, planning certain events, planning ceremonies, making banners and backdrops and things like that, and making that final push for volunteers.
Now I know this is the largest student-run Special Olympics in the world.
Yes.
How early do you guys start preparing for this, gearing up for this event?
Our committee starts in February, early February, so we've been planning for this weekend for 9 months now, the culmination of 250 some days of work, so we're very excited for the weekend to be here.
Wow, that's pretty early, that's pretty early. So what inspired you to become involved with Special Olympics when you were a freshman?
Yeah, I first applied to be an LPH my freshman year and really didn't know much about Special Olympics or Fall Fest in general. The reason I applied was because of a student named Grace in my high school. I was part of this group called Peers All Coming Together that was a small group kind of setting, and Grace was in my group and she had an intellectual disability, and to see her kind of at first be a little bit shy and not become very accustomed to the group, and then at the end she was this vibrant person, loved talking to everyone in the group, and the group loved having her as well. And so I really wanted to just continue that relationship that I had with Grace and push that into, you know, meeting other people with intellectual disabilities and having an impact on their lives, and more importantly learning from them too. I think that's something that students can all take away, is you'll learn from the athletes just as much as they learn from you.
Now I believe this is your second year as Fall Festival Director?
No, this is actually my first year.
Your first year?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. You know, what does it mean to you to be the Fall Festival Director?
It's an honor to be a part of this event and work with all of committee. You know, like I said, we've been working with 90 people for the last 9 months, and so to kind of see all that and all the behind the scenes work that goes into Fall Fest and working with all of these students has been a great joy, probably the highlight of my Villanova career.
Now I know this is a great event. It's all day when the weekend comes. Just kind of give me a behind the scenes look. So what does your day look like, let's say on Friday or Saturday, the first few days of Special Olympics here?
Yeah, so the whole weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, committee is up at 5:30 a.m. is our first meeting in the East Lounge. So we're up and at 'em early. We end each day around 11 p.m. So minimal sleep that weekend, but we do it all for the athletes and love to do it. And really it's just a lot of setup. So we'll have, each person on committee has their own specific role for the weekend. And so they're responsible for that part of the weekend, and so it depends on what management team they're on. If they're on competition, they're running the competition venues, and so for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, they're there with the athletes and making sure competition is running smoothly. For our people that are in charge of ceremonies or O-Town or things like that, they're up heading those events as well. So really it's all the students just managing their separate venues and events and making sure everything's running smoothly.
Wow. So this past summer, ESPN got to broadcast the LA World Games, the Special Olympics World Games, and it was the first time that ESPN had ever done such a major broadcast. Brought a lot of attention to Special Olympics as a whole. What is your reaction to it as someone who is the Fall Festival Director?
Yeah, it was great to see. I watched it all with my family, and we watched specifically the 30 for 30 on Eunice Kennedy Shriver, who's the founder of Special Olympics, and it was a very powerful moment for me to see all that, and then also to watch that with my parents. It was something cool to share with them, something that I'm really passionate about, and for them to see that passion rub off on them. It was also great just because to watch with my friends that maybe don't have experience with Special Olympics, and for them to see what Special Olympics is about, see the sports and just kind of the movement behind the sport of Special Olympics. It was great to have ESPN cover that and kind of bring more awareness to Special Olympics.
You know, what do you say to the people out there who don't know much about Special Olympics, who don't know much about being around people with disabilities and things like that. What do you usually say to them?
Yeah, I would just say get involved. So a lot of people just come out to Fall Fest to volunteer, and they know, students specifically know that it's, you know, a big thing on Villanova's campus, and they just kind of do it because everyone else is doing it. And you might be a little bit nervous to interact with the athletes. The best tip I can give you is just to interact with them like you would any other student. At the end of the day, they're just humans just like we are, and so you would treat them the same as you would anyone else. And so just have a conversation with them, go up to them. The thing that athletes love most about coming to Villanova is interacting with Villanova students. So as long as Villanova students can provide that outlet for athletes, it'll be a great weekend for volunteers and athletes.
So with the World Games in LA, the Fall Festival Committee was able to go. What was that experience like?
Yeah,
live in person?
so myself and then the 5 management team directors who also oversee some people on committee were able to go to LA. It was a great experience. We were there for the last weekend, so we saw all of the gold medal games, handball, bocce, table tennis. So we saw some sports that Fall Fest had, like powerlifting and bocce as well, but we also saw sports that don't exist in Fall Fest or may not even in Special Olympics Pennsylvania. So it was great to see all that and just connect with the athletes from around the world. We met up with the team from Team Ireland. They were playing bocce. And so it was just really great to see all that on such a big scale. We think, you know, for a lot of us on committee, we just see Fall Fest and then some other Special Olympics Pennsylvania events around the year. And to see a Special Olympics event on such a large global scale was really cool. And we brought a lot of ideas from World Games to Fall Fest. So we're excited to, you know, test those out on kind of a smaller event, but see how they go.
So for a little sneak peek preview, what are some of these events that you guys brought back?
Yeah, so stuff specifically with the World Games. At the World Games, they had a lot of these cool backdrops. So everyone on competition made a backdrop banner that goes along with our theme, which is Dive In as Athletes, Emerge as Champions. It's a little under the sea theme. And so they made all these banners and backdrops for athletes to take pictures of during their competition and afterwards. And then in O-Town, we also have a large banner that the athletes are going to be able to sign. We saw that as we were walking out of World Games and just thought it was so cool that all the athletes could sign their name, and at the end of it you can see who was all there, and it kind of was a cool piece of the World Games. We wanted to bring that to Fall Fest.
How many athletes are you expecting to come?
1,200 athletes, and then with coaches and everyone, assistant coaches and delegation volunteers from the counties, it's around 1,850 people coming to campus. So campus will be lively, very energetic and vibrant on a Saturday morning at 8 a.m. when O-Town starts up, but we're excited about it.
So with Special Olympics, especially for some of the freshman people who they might feel that it's a little too late to volunteer. Is it too late? Or
no, definitely not. Our volunteer registration form is up online on our website, specialolympics.villanova.edu. You have the volunteers tab and it's all there. There are plenty of ways to get involved. We're looking for housing volunteers, medical volunteers, security volunteers, general competition volunteers to cheer on and referee or score. And you can also volunteer with a group or a club that you're in on campus in Olympic Town, which is a great place. A lot of energy there and the athletes love to hang out there. You can also volunteer with Healthy Athletes or also be a media and publicity volunteer and take pictures of the weekend and help that crew document the weekend for social media and years to come.
This is your final year with Special Olympics here. What has been the biggest takeaway from all this, from your experiences with Special Olympics and Fall Festival?
I think that Special Olympics is really powerful in that the thing that I take away is that you can use something so simple as sport to really be a vehicle for change in the world. Obviously, Special Olympics at its heart is competition and sports and providing those opportunities for the athletes, but in the end, it's a vehicle for change and into how we treat certain humans and how we interact with them. And so something as so simple as sports can really have such a big effect on the community.
Bobby, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, Eugene.
Thanks for joining us this week. I'll now send it back to Pat and Alexandra in the studio, and we'll take it from there.
So as you can see, Special Olympics is taking over campus this week, and it's going to be a great weekend we got coming up.
Yeah, so you are really involved in Special Olympics. So tell me a little bit about what you're doing.
Yeah, so this week we're wrapping everything up. My thing I'm involved with is called the Healthy Athletes Committee. So it's all about working with athletes who, when they're not competing, they come and get health screenings, and they can do, which I'm doing is called active athletes, which is they can play games like Zumba, CrossFit, yoga.
That's so fun.
It's a lot of fun and stuff, and we have some healthy habits things to teach them some how to be healthy and stuff, nutritional stuff, and it's something they really want. So we're really excited for it.
Yeah, I'm sure you're going to be a great Zumba teacher, and I'll actually also be at O-Town with Kappa Delta, and we're going to have the cornhole set up there so athletes can come and play, which is going to be a lot of fun.
That's awesome. That's the hub of it all. When they're not competing, they're hanging out in O-Town, dancing around. Just they love being there, seeing the other students at Villanova, and just love getting to interact with you. And so that's one of the best parts of the weekend. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
We concur on that.
Exactly. That's great.
Yeah. Now we're going to send it over to Brendan for the Villanova Sports Rundown.
Hi, and welcome to the Sports Update Corner here on State of the Nova Nation. I'm Brendan Donovan, and I'll be giving you all the highlights and scores for the Wildcats. The football team faced off against the Maine Black Bears under the lights this week. Zach Bernardzik had 143 yards and a touchdown through the air, and had another 133 yards and a touchdown on the ground in a game that featured a hard defensive effort on both sides. The Wildcats will hit the road next weekend for a game against Rhode Island. The men's soccer team was given another tough task, facing off against Georgetown for the second year in a row on Senior Day. Sean Sheridan supplied Villanova's only goal early in the game off of a penalty kick. Bakey Goodman tied it up shortly after, and Brendan Allen scored late in the game to put the Hoyas on top. The women's team ended a rough season on a high note, beating Seton Hall in the final game of the season. The Wildcats shut out the Seton Hall Pirates with goals from Emily Kufler and Christina Camassa to give Villanova the win. Patrick Tiernan made history on Halloween in cross country when he won his third Big East individual title. Tiernan's three-peat is the first in conference history. Robert Denault and Jordan Williams also landed in the top 5, finishing 4th and 5th, respectively. Overall, the men's team finished 2nd in the Big East. As for the women's cross-country team, Bella Berta and Siofra Clary Butner finished in the top 10 for Villanova. The women's team as a whole finished 3rd in the conference. That's it for the scores and highlights this week. We'll send it back to Pat and Alexandra in the studio.
That's all we have for tonight's show, but tune in next week for even more sports analysis.
Now, this past weekend was Halloween, which we haven't even talked about yet.
I know.
Now,
it's a hot topic, too.
It is. Now, you, for all of our folks at home, are probably very familiar with the Bad Blood music video by Taylor Swift.
Yes.
Since that's the only way we can listen to her music, since you can't listen on Spotify. But
no.
I'm sure people are familiar with the characters. And there's a lot of celebrities in that music video. I realize
there
that.
are. And I actually dressed as one for Halloween, Cara Delevingne, who is a model. I dressed as her character in the video. Eye makeup, all black and everything.
Yeah.
It didn't have any, cool like guns or knives.
Gadgets or anything.
Yeah, but I think I looked pretty good.
Yeah,
so.
I liked her. I saw you. It was a great costume and stuff.
Did.
It worked really well. And so they should have just put you in the music video.
I know, but they should have put you in all of the Beach Boy music videos because you killed it as a Beach Boy.
I was a Beach Boy. Had the Hawaiian shirt going, the bathing suit, the hat, the sunglasses, the flip flops. It was great. I go and I was telling people it's the 50th anniversary, the 50th reunion tour. You know what I mean?
Are you going on that?
We are. I told you we're having a concert in Connolly Center.
Oh yeah, no, I bought
the Good
tickets.
Vibrations tour. That's what
yeah.
it's on it. So it's gonna be good, So it was a fun Halloween. I enjoyed dressing up in that.
Fun.
You know what I mean? It was creative doing the Beach Boys thing.
It was. That was very creative.
Yeah. So thank you so much for everyone who tuned in tonight. We really appreciate it. As you said, first episode back. We'll be back next week with more great stuff with Villanova Sports. As I said, my name is Pat Ralph.
And I'm Alexandra Hernandez.
We'll see you next week. Take care.
Do we talk, right?
Yeah, we was going to say talk.
Yeah.
It was really good, as always.
Yeah.
Just killing the game.
We did kill the game.
Yeah.
That was a great banter.
It was great banter and stuff with the Halloween and stuff.
Yeah. So now we have to go back and, do all our work.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah. Con law paper.
It's gonna be great.
Seriously, it's gonna be great. Can't wait. Oh my
God,
we should have gone off about Sloma's out here. Why'd you make me do this paper? Why?
We should have shouted out to him.
Yeah, we really should.
I really liked your Halloween costume.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks. What were you?
I was actually first night I was Green Lantern, and then the second day
nice.
I was a I was a onesie. Not a onesie, but I was in a mermaid.
Oh.
Nice. There you go.